you're speaking to Agenda 2063, which touches Aspiration 6 specifically, speaks to harnessing youth as assets, partners, and a prerequisite for sustainable development. And looking at the fact that Africa right now is a melting pot, and a lot of young Africans look up to you, how can young Africans position themselves in line with the opportunities and looking at the pledges that you are making for their success and upskilling and capacity building?
Well, I'm inspired by them. From Kinshasa to Khartoum, to Algiers, they are standing up for rights and values that people in my part of the world, the United States and Europe, are willing to throw away.
Yes.
So they're the inspiration. But what I would say is that I think that sometimes when we speak about what success would look like on the African continent, what development would look like on the African continent, we speak too much about the economy. Yes. We speak too much as people, as economic units, and don't realize that what makes society stable isn't just the economy. Yes. So I really just would stress on everybody to demand their right to the best education possible, not just from childhood, but also through higher education. And it's essential, because if you look at one of the biggest causes of brain drain from this continent, and one of the biggest causes of emigration, it's actually people going to study overseas.
Yes. And how do we begin to be continentally relevant and globally competitive as well?
Well, I think education is one way to become, globally relevant, because you're going to have, the largest youth workforce out of any continent in the world at some point in this century.
Of course.
And therefore, demanding education, is why we'll bring, we'll obviously bring the jobs. Because I'm not trying to say that we shouldn't be encouraging entrepreneurship, and innovation.
Yes.
But when in the democratic societies, or in the democratic space that you're given, the civic space that you're given, I think that institutions should be held to account to provide better education on this continent. Yes. For the next generation of African leaders, business people, doctors, lawyers, civil servants.
Okay, and being here in this space, interacting with some of the young people, what have been some of the key things that you've taken away from the youth who are present in the space?
Obviously, to me they're heroes for something that I said earlier, which is the fact that they are willing to risk their lives for values that people in Europe and North America are willing now to throw away. Yes. And that to me gives me a huge amount of inspiration. And what I've also found interesting is when I bring up this point about higher education.
Yes.
They say you're right. They say thank you for saying that.
And I can see that you're also very passionate about education, which is something that we're looking at re-innovating in the continent. How important is this innovation dialogue in terms of education? Also looking at it from a thematic perspective, being part of the 4 E's that the initiatives aims to address.
Education to me is the basis of the other 3
of course.
E's.
The building block.
Yeah, of course. Yes. You can look at all the statistics about what a good education means for women's rights in a society, what educating women means for public health standards, for decrease in disease, etc. So, you can't have, I sometimes worry about the glorification of entrepreneurship, because, society is not, society, comes together through government. Society comes together through the civic space. Yes, it comes together through, through business.
Yes.
But sometimes I get the sense that, okay, yeah, we'll create a few African billionaires, and that's gonna, and a few African philanthropists, and that's gonna solve the problem. No.
Yes, it's the so what component.
Yeah, of
yes.
course. Yeah. So so I mean, I understand why entrepreneurship is important. People have to people have to eat. They have to live. But I think that when you look at what makes the strongest societies, it's more than just economics, and also it's using state resources and using capacity at its highest level.